Hi, Sunday Schoolers. Oh, I'm curious how you guys have been doing this week. If you've had a good week doing all of your schoolwork on the computer and at home. I hope everybody's doing well. It's certainly a nice day out, so I thought we'd come outside. We never get to do Sunday school outside, so this is kind of exciting. So I've got a couple stories I wanted to read to you. This first story is called Alive, and this happened on the first Easter Sunday. Mary Magdalene stood outside the tomb. Peter and one of the other disciples had come, had seen the strips of linen, and had left in wonder and confusion. Now she was alone. She missed Jesus so much. Just then she heard steps behind her, and a man asked, "Woman, why are you crying? Who are you looking for?" Thinking this must be the gardener, she begged, "Sir, if you have moved him, please tell me where he is, and I will get him." The man only spoke her name, Mary, but instantly she spun around. She recognized that clear, gentle voice. "Teacher," she gasped and reached out toward Jesus. Jesus said, "Do not hold on to me, for I have not yet ascended to my Father. Go and tell the others." So Mary rushed off with the amazing news that she had just seen Jesus alive. And our next story is called A Stranger on the Road. That same day, two of Jesus' followers were traveling along the dusty road from Jerusalem to a village. They couldn't stop talking about the last couple of days. Soon another man approached them and asked them what they were talking about. "Where have you been?" they asked in amazement, and went on to tell him excitedly all about Jesus, the amazing things he taught and the miracles he had performed. Then, more somberly, they told him of his death and his disappearance from the tomb. "How slow you are to believe what the prophets told you," said the stranger. "Don't you see that the Messiah had to suffer these things and then enter his glory?" He began to talk to them about everything that had been said in the scriptures about Jesus. They were enthralled, for he made everything so clear. At the village, they urged him to dine with them. As they were eating, he took some bread and, giving thanks for it, broke it into pieces and handed it to them. Suddenly they realized who this stranger really was, Jesus himself, and then he vanished. The friends hurried back to Jerusalem. They couldn't wait to tell the disciples the good news. So I have always wondered when I would read that Bible story, why was it that God would prevent the disciples from being able to see Jesus? Wouldn't God want them to be able to see Jesus right away and know that he was alive? I think at that point, the disciples were probably really confused. Mary Magdalene had said that Jesus was alive, but all they saw was an empty tomb. And they were still really sad and angry about the fact that Jesus had suffered so much. And as much as Jesus tried to tell them in advance what was going to happen, they just didn't understand. And they were confused. And so to be walking with this man and not know that he was really Jesus, why would God have that happen? So I think that maybe part of the reason was that God knew there would be times in our lives when we would be confused and sad and maybe angry or frustrated, and that we would feel like, where's Jesus? I'm going through this really hard time and I don't feel Jesus. I don't see him with me. Why has he abandoned me? And so I think that God had this story in the Bible so that we could see there are times when Jesus is right there with us. He's always there with us, and we can't always see him. We can't always feel his presence. And I've had that happen to me before. I had one time when I was very upset and really scared, and I was praying so hard to Jesus to help me and to help me feel that he was there with me. And I actually started to cry. I was so upset. And all of a sudden, my whole body got really warm. And it felt like Jesus was right there giving me a huge bear hug. I don't know if your mom and dad ever give you really big bear hugs, but sometimes you get a big bear hug and it lifts you up your feet. You know, it's such a big hug. And that's what I felt like. I felt like my whole body just got really warm, and I could all of a sudden just feel that Jesus was there. And he was saying, "Silly, I'm right here. I'm hugging you. I'm hugging you so tight. I'm trying to make you warm so that you know that I'm here." And it worked. I felt Jesus in that moment, and I knew he was there with me. And it made me feel so happy. And it made me realize that what I was going through was really hard, and I was sad and scared, but that it was going to be okay because Jesus was there with me all along. And that made me so happy. So I just want to make sure that if you guys are ever scared about anything or sad or angry about something, maybe you're so frustrated right now because you're home all the time with your brothers and sisters, and maybe they're driving you crazy. So you have something that you can do about that. You can talk to Jesus. And something that really works well too is you can talk to Jesus out loud when you pray. Maybe when mom and dad are tucking you in for bed, you can say a prayer to Jesus and you can say it out loud, and mom and dad can hear that you're really frustrated with your brother and sister, or you're really happy because you got to play outside, or you're really sad about something. And then your mom and dad can be there and work for Jesus, because sometimes people still can't feel that Jesus is there. So he'll have your mom or dad give you a big hug. And I can always tell that when I'm sad and somebody gives me a hug, I can kind of feel that Jesus is there helping that person give me a big hug. And so I think it's really important that we keep in mind that Jesus is always with us. He's always right by our side, and we always have the power to talk to him. We always can tell him how we're feeling. And it's really good to get in the habit of talking to him every day, telling him what we're grateful for, what makes us happy, what made us happy that day. If there was anything that made us sad that day or angry, you can tell Jesus all of those feelings. And then he can talk to you too. He can make you feel better. And it might not be the warm feeling that I got that time. Sometimes I've felt that a nice calm has just washed over my whole body when I was feeling upset about something. And I know that that is Jesus working in me, telling me everything is going to be awesome. It might not be great that day, but it will get better, and he's there with me, and he's working and listening to my prayers and helping me through it. So it's me, so there's always a craft with me, right? So I was thinking, now that it's nice out, and I don't know if you can see, but I've got bare piggies today, got my sandals on, so I was thinking you guys could take off your socks and shoes and get a piece of paper and have mom or dad or your brother or sister trace your feet on a piece of paper. And then up at the top, we can write, "Walk with Jesus." Jesus walks with me, whatever you want. Just to help you remember that Jesus is always there with you, walking right beside you through the happy times and the sad times, and he never leaves your side. So then you can decorate your little feet on the piece of paper however you want. The girls might want to give themselves fancy toenails, or the boys might want to decorate some shoes, or whatever you want. And so I think that would be a great thing to hang up somewhere where everybody in the house can see it. And that'll help remind all of us that no matter what, Jesus is there walking with us. So I hope everybody has a great week. I hope you get outside and enjoy all of the nice spring weather. I love you and I miss you guys. We'll see you soon.